Why do so many older adults wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning? And what is your body really trying to tell you? It might seem like just another quirk of aging, but waking up before sunrise isn't random, and it certainly isn't meaningless. In fact, it's often one of the most revealing signs of how your brain, hormones, emotions, and overall health are adjusting with age. Whether it happens once in a while or almost every night, that early morning awakening could be your body sending you important signals. In this video, we're breaking down 6 surprising reasons why older adults keep waking up before 4 a.m. and what each of those reasons might really mean for your health. These aren't guesses or superstitions. These are well-studied, research-based patterns that doctors and sleep specialists have quietly observed in thousands of seniors. And when you understand what's behind the shift in your sleep, you may not only sleep better, you may begin to understand your body on a deeper level. So if you've ever stared at the ceiling at 3:47 a.m. wondering what's going on, or why this keeps happening to you more often as you get older, stay tuned, because what you'll learn today might not just explain your sleep, it might reveal something more meaningful about your mind, your rhythms, and your well-being. Let's get started. Reason 1, changes in circadian rhythm. One of the most common and natural reasons older adults wake up before 4 a.m. is a shift in something called the circadian rhythm, your internal biological clock that tells your body when to wake up and when to go to sleep. As we age, that internal clock doesn't just tick the same way it did when we were younger. It moves, it shifts, and that shift often makes you feel sleepy, earlier in the evening, and wide awake before the sun even comes up. This change is part of a process known as phase advance. What that means is your body begins to release melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy earlier in the evening than it used to. As a result, you may naturally fall asleep at 8 or 9 p.m. instead of 10 or 11. And because most people still need about 6 to 8 hours of sleep, waking up around 3 or 4 in the morning isn't actually bad sleep, it's just early. But here's where things get tricky. If you go to bed early and wake up early, that's not necessarily a problem unless it feels like one. If you wake up at 3 a.m. feeling alert, your body may simply be telling you that it has completed a full night's rest. But if you're waking up too early and feeling groggy or unrefreshed during the day, that's when this shift can become frustrating and even harmful to your overall well-being. This change in rhythm is more than just hormonal. As we get older, the part of the brain that controls the sleep-wake cycle, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, becomes less responsive to light and less synchronized to environmental cues. That means the signals telling your body it's time to rest or time to wake become weaker and more erratic. You might start getting sleepy before dinner, then find yourself wide awake long before the alarm. There's also a psychological layer to this. Many older adults have a deep, lifelong relationship with routine. And when those routines get interrupted, whether by retirement, grief, illness, or isolation, the body can respond by adjusting its rhythms in unexpected ways. For example, someone who once stayed up late every night might now prefer the quiet hours before dawn, even if they didn't choose it consciously. Take Harold, for example. He's 77 and used to be a night owl his whole life. But ever since his wife passed away and his work life slowed down, he finds himself dozing off by 8 p.m. and wide awake by 4. At first, he thought something was wrong. But after talking with his doctor and making some small changes to his evening routine, he realized his rhythm had simply changed. Now he uses those early morning hours for reflection, writing or walking quietly before the world wakes up. It's become a peaceful time rather than a restless one. So if you find yourself waking up at 3:30 in the morning, take a moment to ask, did I fall asleep earlier than usual? Did I get at least 6 or 7 hours of sleep? Because if the answer is yes, your body might just be doing exactly what it's supposed to. It's not broken. It's adjusting. And understanding that shift is the first step toward making peace with your new rhythm and even learning to use it to your advantage. Reason 2, decreased melatonin production. Another reason many older adults find themselves waking up in the middle of the night or even before 4 a.m. is something happening quietly inside the brain, a steady age-related decline in melatonin production. Melatonin is often referred to as the sleep hormone, and for good reason. It plays a key role in regulating the body's internal clock and signaling when it's time to rest. But as we age, our bodies begin to produce less of it, and that reduction can make a big difference in how and how long we sleep. In younger years, melatonin levels rise naturally in the evening, helping you feel drowsy and fall asleep. Those levels typically stay elevated throughout the night, keeping your sleep deep and continuous. But after 60, and even more so after 70, those melatonin peaks begin to shrink. Your body may still release melatonin, but not as much and not for as long. This means you may still fall asleep just fine, but staying asleep becomes the real challenge. The result? You wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, your mind alert, your body restless, and the comfort of deep sleep already behind you. It's not that something is wrong with your sleep. It's that the biological support structure that once held it together so easily is beginning to loosen. And that process, while natural, can feel frustrating, confusing, or even alarming if you don't know what's causing it. What makes this shift even trickier is that it often goes unnoticed. Unlike pain or fatigue, you don't feel your melatonin levels dropping. You just notice that you're waking up more often or earlier than you used to. And since melatonin also affects mood, metabolism, and immune function, those early risings might come with other symptoms like irritability, sluggishness, or even lowered resistance to illness. But there's hope here too. Because while your body may not produce as much melatonin on its own, there are ways to support that system gently and naturally. Let me tell you about Susan. She's 74 and started noticing she was waking up almost every night at 3:30, staring at the ceiling for hours before dawn. She wasn't in pain and she wasn't anxious, just wide awake. After speaking with her doctor, she began adjusting her evening habits. She dimmed her lights after dinner, turned off the TV an hour before bed, and avoided caffeine after lunchtime. Within a few weeks, she wasn't just falling asleep more easily, she was staying asleep longer too. And though she still occasionally woke up early, she no longer felt exhausted during the day. That's the thing about melatonin. It's highly sensitive to your environment. Bright lights in the evening, especially the blue light from screens, can suppress its release. Too much stimulation at night, news, noise, or even heated conversations, can interfere with how your brain winds down. But when you protect your evenings, your body gets the message it's time to rest. So if you've been waking up earlier than you'd like, and you're wondering why your sleep feels more fragile than it used to, consider what your melatonin might be doing or not doing. It's not about blaming your age. It's about understanding your biology, working with it, and giving your body the conditions it needs to rest well again. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Reason 3, increased sensitivity to light and noise. Another reason so many older adults find themselves waking up before 4 a.m. is something that often goes unnoticed, but has a powerful effect on sleep. Increased sensitivity to environmental disturbances, especially light and noise. As we age, our sleep becomes lighter, more fragile, and far easier to disrupt. The same creak in the floorboard or flicker from a street lamp that you once slept through without flinching can now jolt you awake in the early hours and make it hard to drift back off. You see, in your younger years, your sleep likely cycled through deeper stages for longer periods, including the kind of deep, restorative sleep that makes it difficult for small interruptions to wake you. But starting around your 60s and 70s, those stages tend to shorten, and your brain stays in lighter sleep for more of the night. This lighter sleep has a purpose. It helps your body stay alert to potential dangers, but it also makes you more likely to wake up from things that didn't used to bother you at all. But light isn't the only culprit. Noise plays a major role too. Whether it's a car engine, a dog barking, the hum of an appliance, or a neighbor's early morning routine. Even minor sounds can snap you out of sleep when your brain is in these lighter stages. And once you're awake, you may find it hard to fall back asleep. Not because you're not tired, but because your body has lost some of the deep sleep momentum that used to carry you through the night. There's also a psychological layer to this sensitivity. Many older adults develop an internal sense of alertness in the early morning hours, often linked to long-standing routines, caregiving roles, or a heightened sense of responsibility. Even if those responsibilities no longer exist, the habit of light sleeping in the morning may persist. Let me tell you about Glenn, a retired firefighter in his early 80s. For decades, he worked shifts that often started at 4 a.m. Even after retirement, and despite no longer needing to get up early, Glenn found himself awake before dawn almost every day. The sound of a passing truck or the dim light of his alarm clock was enough to rouse him. Eventually, he realized his sleep was still responding to patterns from the past. So he made a few adjustments: blackout curtains, a white noise machine, and dimming all electronic lights in his room. Within weeks, he was waking up later and feeling more rested. That's the good news. This increased sensitivity doesn't have to control your mornings forever. Small environmental changes can make a big difference. Blackout shades or eye masks can block out early sunlight. White noise machines or even soft fan sounds can mask sudden noises. Turning off unnecessary electronics and removing blinking lights from your bedroom can help your brain stay in a restful state longer. So if you've been waking up early and wondering why every little sound or flicker of light feels like an alarm bell, it's not your imagination, it's your aging brain adapting to a new level of sensitivity. And while that sensitivity is normal, it's also manageable. With a few gentle shifts, you may find yourself sleeping more soundly, staying asleep longer, and waking up closer to the time you truly want to start your day. Reason 4, underlying health conditions. One of the most overlooked yet deeply common reasons older adults keep waking up before 4 a.m. is the presence of underlying health conditions, physical challenges that quietly interfere with restful sleep. These aren't always dramatic or obvious. In fact, many of them are subtle, persistent, and easy to dismiss as just part of getting older. But the truth is, even low-grade discomfort or minor interruptions caused by health issues can have a major impact on when and how long you sleep. Let's start with one of the most common culprits, frequent urination. As we age, the bladder becomes less elastic, and hormonal changes reduce its ability to hold urine through the night. Many seniors find themselves waking up once, twice, even 3 times to use the bathroom. And while each trip may seem harmless, it breaks up your sleep cycle, often leaving you wide awake far earlier than planned. By the time your body settles again, the clock reads 3:45 a.m., and your mind has already moved on to the day ahead. Then there's chronic pain. Arthritis, back problems, joint stiffness, or muscle aches can keep you from falling into deep sleep or pull you out of it in the early morning when your body's less relaxed. Pain doesn't always shout, it often whispers. A dull ache in your hip or a slight pressure in your shoulder might not seem enough to fully wake you, but it can still push your body from deep rest into light sleep, making it easier for other small triggers, light, noise, or even your own thoughts to wake you up fully. Breathing problems are another major cause. Conditions like sleep apnea, snoring, asthma, or even simple congestion can interrupt your airflow, lowering oxygen levels and prompting micro-awakenings throughout the night. Most people don't even realize it's happening. They just know they feel tired, groggy, and often find themselves awake before dawn, unsure why they can't sleep longer. And because these breathing interruptions don't always come with dramatic gasping or choking, they're easy to miss unless someone else notices or a sleep study confirms it. Let me share a story about Pauline, a 72-year-old who spent months waking up around 3:30 every morning. She chalked it up to age until a routine checkup revealed her blood pressure medication was increasing her nighttime urination. After adjusting the dosage time with her doctor, her sleep immediately improved. She still wakes up a little earlier than she used to, but it's no longer disruptive or draining. "I thought it was just what happens when you get older," she said. "Turns out it was something I could fix." Even low iron levels, thyroid imbalances, or medication side effects can influence how your body sleeps and wakes. That's why if you find yourself consistently waking before 4 a.m. and nothing in your routine seems to be the cause, it may be worth asking your doctor for a full review. You may be surprised to learn that a few tweaks could bring you hours of better rest. So don't brush off these early wake-ups as just part of aging. They might be, yes, but they might also be your body whispering for attention. And when you listen closely, you not only sleep better, you give your health the care and respect it truly deserves. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Reason 5, emotional and mental health factors. Another reason older adults often find themselves waking up before 4 a.m. isn't just about the body, it's about the mind. Emotional and mental health factors, especially those that quietly build up over time, can have a profound impact on your sleep patterns. And the early morning hours, those still, quiet moments before the world wakes up, are often when those inner thoughts make the most noise. As we get older, we carry more. More memories, more worries, more what-ifs and should-haves. And while daytime distractions might keep those thoughts at bay, the night has a way of bringing them back. This is especially true for seniors who are dealing with loneliness, grief, anxiety, or unresolved stress. You may fall asleep just fine, only to find yourself awake in the dark, staring at the ceiling with your thoughts racing. This is more common than most people think. In fact, studies have shown that seniors who experience frequent early morning awakenings often have elevated levels of anxiety or depressive symptoms, even if they don't consider themselves depressed. It doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it's a quiet restlessness, a sense that something's unsettled, a worry about your health, your family, your finances, or even your future. And those emotions can affect your brain's ability to stay in deep, restorative sleep. I remember talking with Leonard, a soft-spoken gentleman in his late 70s who had recently moved into a smaller home after his wife passed away. He told me, "I don't really have bad dreams or anything. I just wake up at 3 a.m. and start thinking about her, about the past, about what I'm even doing with the rest of my life." He wasn't looking for sympathy. He was simply being honest. And his honesty spoke to something many people feel, but rarely say aloud. These early wake-ups aren't just interruptions. They're invitations to notice what's stirring inside you. And while that may sound overwhelming, it can also be healing. Because once you recognize that your mind is processing something, you can begin to respond with kindness instead of frustration. There are ways to ease this kind of emotional sleep disruption. Gentle evening routines that include journaling, prayer, meditation, or simply writing down what's on your mind before bed can help clear the mental clutter. Talking with someone, a trusted friend, counselor, or support group, can make a big difference too. Sometimes just saying the words out loud helps lighten their weight. So the next time you find yourself wide awake before dawn, pay attention not just to your body, but to your heart. What's it saying? What's it holding? And how might you begin to care for it more gently? Because often those early hours aren't just about broken sleep. They're about unmet needs that are quietly asking to be heard. And listening to them may be one of the most healing steps you can take. Reason 6, lack of daytime stimulation or routine. One often missed reason many older adults wake up before 4 a.m. is surprisingly simple: not enough stimulation during the day. As odd as it might sound, when your body doesn't have enough to do while the sun is up, whether that means movement, conversation, sunlight, or purpose, it doesn't build up enough pressure to stay asleep during the night. And that lack of stimulation over time can quietly disrupt your sleep in ways that feel frustrating and hard to explain. Here's why it matters. Sleep is partly driven by something called sleep pressure, a natural buildup of chemicals in the brain, especially adenosine, that increases the longer you stay awake and active. The more mentally and physically engaged you are throughout the day, the more sleep pressure your body builds, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. But if your days are mostly quiet, still, or repetitive, your brain may not build up the same level of sleep pressure. That means you might fall asleep early, but wake up far too soon. It's a bit like filling a balloon with air. If you only blow a little air into it, it deflates quickly. But if you fill it completely, it holds strong for hours. Your brain works in a similar way. It needs full, meaningful days in order to support full, restful nights. This is especially true for seniors who are retired, living alone, or dealing with limited mobility. Without the structure of a job, children to raise, or a schedule packed with appointments, it's easy for days to become quiet and inactive. And while rest has its value, too much of it, especially during the day, can actually leave you feeling more tired, more restless, and more likely to wake up in the middle of the night. There's also the role of natural light. Many older adults don't get enough exposure to daylight, especially in the morning hours. This matters because light is the strongest signal your brain uses to set your internal clock. When you go outside in the morning, take a walk, water the plants, sit on the porch, you're telling your brain this is daytime. That exposure helps set your sleep-wake cycle and can lead to more restful sleep at night. But if most of your time is spent indoors under dim lighting, your brain can become confused, making it harder to fall asleep deeply and stay asleep consistently. Let me share a story about Elaine, an 80-year-old who had recently moved into an assisted living apartment. She found herself waking at 3 a.m. every night, restless and irritable. When asked about her days, she admitted they were mostly spent watching television, dozing in her chair, and skipping meals because she wasn't all that hungry. Her doctor gently encouraged her to join one group activity each day and take a 10-minute walk outside in the morning. Within a few weeks, Elaine noticed a change. Her sleep grew deeper, and while she still woke up early occasionally, she was sleeping past 5 a.m. more often than not, and feeling better during the day too. It's important to understand that stimulation doesn't have to mean something exhausting or complex. It can be simple. A walk around the block, reading a new book, calling a friend, tidying up a drawer, listening to music and tapping your foot. Even small activities help build that necessary sleep pressure, giving your body a reason to rest deeply later. And creating a daily routine, even if it's gentle, can help too. Waking up at the same time, eating meals on a schedule, going outside for light, and winding down in the evening with intention can all send clear messages to your body. Over time, these rhythms support healthier, more predictable sleep, even if you're not filling every moment of the day. So if you find yourself lying awake before 4 a.m. and your days feel a little too slow or quiet, consider adding small bursts of activity or routine. It's not about doing more to feel busy, it's about creating just enough movement, light, and structure to support your brain's natural desire to rest. Because when your days are full in the right ways, your nights tend to follow. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a quiet moment to reflect on what we've explored together. Of all the reasons we've covered, shifts in your body clock, lower melatonin levels, increased sensitivity to noise and light, underlying health conditions, emotional unrest, or simply quieter days, did one feel especially familiar to you? Did something click? Or perhaps for the first time in a long time, do you feel like there's actually a reason behind those 3 a.m. awakenings? If so, you're not alone. Waking up early as you age isn't something to fear or resent. It's something to understand. Your body, your mind, and your spirit are constantly changing. They're adjusting, adapting, and, in many cases, quietly asking for care in ways that don't always use words. Sometimes they use patterns like the hour you wake up to tell you something deeper. But the good news is that these early wake-ups aren't a sentence. They're an invitation to examine your habits, your routines, and even your thoughts with curiosity instead of judgment. They offer a chance to gently shift your environment, rethink your evening routine, or talk to a doctor about that discomfort you've been brushing aside. They also remind you of something powerful, that your body, even now, is still communicating with you. And that means there's still time to listen and to grow. Maybe you're already doing better than you think. Maybe your early mornings are a reflection of a natural rhythm that just needs a little support. Or maybe there are some adjustments to make, ones that could help you wake up a little later, feel more rested, or move through your day with more energy and peace. Whatever the case, this journey of understanding your sleep isn't just about better rest, it's about better living. Because when you sleep well, everything changes. Your mind is clearer, your heart feels lighter, your body moves with more ease, and your days, no matter how early they start, begin to feel more full, of purpose, of connection, and of life. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.